Ambassador Kethvar of the Zephyrian Council studied the holographic display with growing unease. The three-dimensional map of known space rotated slowly before him, its billions of stars and thousands of civilizations marked in precise detail. Trade routes snaked between systems like glowing veins, and territorial boundaries were marked in colors representing the 47 major galactic powers. But there in what should have been the outer rim territories was a stark line of demarcation. Beyond it lay nothing, not unexplored space. That would be marked differently, not dangerous nebulae or stellar phenomena, simply nothing, as if the galaxy itself had been cleanly severed with a cosmic blade. The border was labeled in standard galactic script: human space, navigation restricted. Counselor, Kethvar addressed the elderly Thraxian beside him. How long has this boundary existed? Counselor Erix's four eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of discomfort among his species. Since the humans first made contact, Ambassador, roughly 300 standard cycles ago. And in all that time, no one has questioned why their space appears to be empty? A heavy silence fell over the cartography chamber. The other delegates, representatives from a dozen different species, suddenly found their data pads fascinating. Only the soft hum of the holographic projectors filled the air. Finally, Trade Minister Voss of the Hegemony spoke up, her crystalline form catching the map's light. We don't ask because we don't want to know. Kethvar's crest feathers ruffled with confusion. I don't understand. You weren't here when they arrived, Erix said quietly. You didn't see what happened to the Devourers. The Devourers. Every species in the galaxy knew that name, whispered in the dark corners of space stations and in the hushed tones of military briefings. They had been the apex predators of the galaxy for millennia, a machine intelligence that consumed entire star systems, converting matter into more of themselves. Dozens of civilizations had fallen to their endless hunger. The Galactic Council had mobilized the largest fleet in recorded history, only to watch it be systematically destroyed. The Devourers were unstoppable, Voss continued. They had consumed the Outer Reach colonies and were moving toward the core worlds. Our calculations showed complete galactic conversion within 50 cycles. Then the humans showed up. Kethvar leaned forward. He had heard fragments of this story, but never the complete account. They came in ships we didn't recognize, Erix said, not particularly large or impressive. When they requested an audience with the Council, we almost refused. What could these newcomers possibly offer? But we were desperate. The old Thraxian activated a secondary display, showing archived footage from that historic session. A small group of humans stood before the assembled council, bipedal creatures with soft skin and no visible natural weapons. They looked impossibly fragile. The human representative was a female named Catherine Reyes, Erix continued. She listened to our briefing about the Devourer threat, asked a few questions about their location and numbers, then made the most extraordinary statement. Kethvar watched as the archived human spoke to the council. Even through the translation matrix, her voice carried an unsettling calm. We'll handle it, Voss quoted from memory. Just keep your forces away from the affected sectors. We don't want any accidents. Accidents? Kethvar repeated. Those were her exact words. The council was skeptical. How could this previously unknown species succeed where our combined fleets had failed? But we were facing extinction. We agreed to their terms. The display changed to show tactical readouts from the outer sectors. Kethvar watched as the Devourer advance simply stopped. One day, their unstoppable expansion halted at the border of what would become human space. It took us months to gather intelligence on what happened, Erix said. Our long-range sensors detected massive energy signatures, gravitational anomalies, and what appeared to be controlled stellar collapses. When it was over, the humans contacted us again. The situation has been resolved, Voss recited. The affected systems are now under human administration for safety reasons. We recommend against travel to these areas. Kethvar stared at the map. The Devourers, they're gone? Completely eradicated, Erix confirmed. Along with every star system they had infected, the humans didn't just defeat them, they sterilized entire sectors of space to ensure no trace remained. A chill ran through the chamber. The implications were staggering. The Devourers had been machine intelligences capable of consuming planets. To eradicate them so completely. How many systems? Kethavar asked. 1,733. Voss answered immediately. We know because they were all marked on our star charts. Every single one is gone now, not destroyed, gone, as if they never existed. Kethavar looked at the clean border on the map with new understanding. The empty space wasn't an error or a sensor shadow. It was a deliberate void where star systems once existed. Since then, Erix continued, the humans have been model galactic citizens. They trade peacefully, honor their agreements, and participate in council activities. They're helpful, friendly, and remarkably generous with their technology transfers. But, Kethavar sensed there was more. But occasionally other threats arise, Voss said quietly. The hive mind rebellion 12 cycles ago, the reality-warping entity that emerged from the galactic core, the time-dilation weapon of the extinct Chronarch civilization that began reactivating. Each time, Erix added, the humans politely volunteer to handle the situation. And each time the threat simply ceases to exist. Not defeated, not contained, ceases to exist, along with whatever star systems were involved. Kethavar stared at the map's border with a mixture of awe and terror. And no one has ever asked them how? The chamber fell silent again. Finally, Trade Minister Voss spoke, her crystalline voice barely above a whisper. Ambassador, if you possessed the power to make star systems simply stop existing, would you want your neighbors asking how you did it? Kethavar's crest feathers flattened against his skull as the full weight of the revelation settled on him. The humans weren't just another galactic power, they were something far more terrifying. They were a species so advanced, so capable of destruction, that they had become the galaxy's unofficial guardians, simply because nothing else could threaten them, and everyone was too afraid to ask questions. The map continued its slow rotation, the clean border of human space serving as a constant reminder that some knowledge was too dangerous to seek. In the depths of space, humanity continued their peaceful trade and diplomatic relations, carrying their terrible secrets with the casual grace of gods walking among mortals.